I have like two lives where, you have like, I have the CEO life, right? Where I have people that work for me that I'm responsible for. I have clients, and then I have like family life. And I talked to my therapist this morning because I have one now since turning 40. I know I'm a late bloomer, but
How old are
it's
you now?
I just turned 40.
Oh, just turned 40. So literally now you started with a
Yeah,
therapist.
I've tried before, and I'm always like, dude, I don't want to talk to you about my dad. Like, it's fine.
Right. I
Like,
don't want to talk to you about my dad. Yep. I'm
just
not fucked up for my parents' divorce.
yeah, my parents did get divorced. And uh so I have one now, and he's like, "It's so interesting. You're so good at manipulating everyone professionally except in your personal life." I was like, "What does that even mean?" And he's like, "You're so good at getting people who work for you to work with you, but then when it comes to your personal life, he's like, you're like the worst CEO in your personal life." And then he told me that I was a human doing and not a human being. And I think I actually like this
Whoa.
therapist because he's so abrasive with me. Like, I
Speaking to you.
respond I
Speaking-
respond to people being tough on me.
yeah.
Like,
Maybe he's got that.
my best teachers, like growing up, the ones I learned from the most were the ones who didn't let me get away with things. Because I will try always.
I was thinking you're kind of like the Kim Kardashian of real estate.
You know who told me that?
Somebody had that thought. Ugh, I hate being unoriginal.
The executive producer of the Kardashians.
Oh, that's not a bad. Okay.
Yeah. She was like,
Really?
"You two should meet."
Because she literally, Kim, our friend Kim, a friend of the pod, has the same thing. Like she just says, like, I want to chill out. Because even you, I think you said on the show on Owning Manhattan, like, I know I'm working a lot now. It's all for later, like chill out. And I
Yeah.
had that thought of like, you're not gonna chill out. Like you're not gonna like get to a point where you're like, okay, now I'm gonna be stay at home.
Because what is the outcome?
Yeah.
And that's, I think now that I am 40, it is it is something that happens. Like, when I turned 30, it just felt like, all right, I'm an adult now. Like, it felt like, okay, I have to be real. Should I live in a studio? Like, what do I need to focus. Turning 40, you're like, oh, once I do this all over again, I will be 80. And it like resets perspective where you
Which
start to
isn't
think
that
about,
bad.
not that, no, Al Pacino's had a baby. He's like 81. Like, I'll be
I
fine.
know.
But it does reset perspective where you start to say, am I waking up every day to be important, or am I waking up every day to be happy? And how do my decisions impact the rest of my life and the people around me? Because your life is just made up of the people. It's whether it's people that you talk to, or whether it's your audience and the portion of your audience that's your community, and the way those people become customer, and then around and around and around we go. Um, this is just me being in my feelings right now. This is how I
I
think.
love it. But how much do you think, how much of your life is work? Like, give me a percentage. Is it like work 70, home 30? Is it 50-50?
50, I know I live in New York. It's not 50-50.
Is it 80-20? Like, what is
Yeah, it's
it?
probably,
Because we've seen your days. I mean,
yeah.
you've shared the crazy sketch.
It's, you know, so I work 6 days a week. If we think like physically, like,
Saturday too, you work?
no, Sunday.
Okay. Why? Because of internet? Like, why?
Because when I moved to New York City
Oh,
is
they do.
predominantly
The,
Jewish, and so you have
oh,
open houses and work days on Sunday, because then you don't go to church,
oh,
right?
that's why.
But you go to,
Now
yeah.
I
So
know.
you have Shabbat on Friday nights, and then you have Saturday where everyone turns off their phones. I'm not Jewish. I was born in, or
You could pass,
as Jewish.
I
You think
think.
so?
I'm Jewish, so I can
Maybe
I
that's
can
why I
decide.
sell so much real estate.
I can decide.
Yeah. Well, so most of the industry, like the open houses and things, aren't on
Right,
Saturdays,
right,
and then
right.
like the offices are closed, and so Saturdays were
It's your
always
only
my,
day off.
yeah, it was then the day off. So that once then we had Zenith, Saturday become Saturday.
Saturday. But you know what? My sister, I started with Owning Manhattan. I never watched Million Dollar Listing.
Oh,
Like my sister is a huge Million Dollar Listing, and she was telling me about you. Like she was like, he, like you've always worked so hard, and like you could chill where you are at now. Like you could chill a bit,
I
but
should
you don't.
I should chill. Yeah.
But you don't. And by the way, I loved the show. I loved Owning Manhattan. I put it on as a like, okay, and I got so into it. It's so good.
Thanks.
It's like such an enjoyable real estate show. First of all, as when you live in New York, I love seeing the real estate in New York. Like
Yeah.
I'll sometimes walk into an open house like for fun.
Oh,
You
you're one of
know?
those people. Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing that.
You know the one across from 12 Chairs in Williamsburg that you know which one I'm talking about? It was like my dream.
The
It looks like
archways.
it looks like a Gaudi kind of vibe.
Oh, the building.
Right,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
they're like no, they're houses.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know which
Yes.
one I'm talking
Yep,
about?
yep.
So I had to go in, and then I was like, my dream, like, it was good that I went in because I didn't like it.
Yeah.
The like 5-story.
Yeah, they get funky on the interior. You
Yeah.
see that in the city a lot. Well, you see it everywhere, where the developer will focus so much on the design without focusing on how people are actually going to live in it. You
Uh-huh.
know, like
Like there was a
people.
closet that was like you could fit a hockey stick,
Yeah,
like width wise.
yeah,
You've probably seen wild things.
yeah. And we spend a lot of time thinking about let's let's not design from the outside in. Let's design from the inside out.
Mm.
Right? It's what's on the inside that counts.
It is.
Right?
I actually love the most the houses in New York apartments. Like I've been to, you know that apartment that used to be Amy Schumer's like $13 million. It sold on the
Yeah, we
Upper
sold
West
it.
Side.
Yeah, we
Oh, that
sold
was
it
yours?
on the buy side. Yeah, we brought the buyer.
So like the building is this like very normy building
Yeah,
on the Upper West Side, and then you walk into this like gorgeous apartment. I actually love that. I think that that's so cool when like the outside.
and she moved to Brooklyn.
And she moved to Brooklyn. Did you get her that home?
Nope.
Oh, are we mad?
No.
Oh, okay.
Everyone's
Um,
moved to Brooklyn. I moved to
and you
Brooklyn.
moved too.
Yeah, we have a house in Brooklyn.
That was that surprising for you that you like left the city?
No, our office is in Soho. Like we
Mhm.
walked here. I'm in the city all day, every day. I just wanted space, and there was a funky moment in time in 2018 where the market was just brutal. Right, rates were fine, rates were low, but no one was buying real estate. It was really, really, really tough. There was a fear of missing out in the stock market, and the market was high relative for the time, and so it was just tough. And so there was just an opportunity that was put in front of me where I was like, I will not be able to afford this when things are normal. So I don't think I wanted to move to I guess I'm moving to Brooklyn. Like,
Mm.
let's buy this house and let's do it.
Miranda vibes.
Yeah.
Did you watch Sex and the City?
No, I'm shooting and just like that tomorrow, actually.
Wait, were you on it already, or
I
this
was
is
on
the
it last
first time?
season. So they wrote
Yeah.
in, they've only ever done 3 cameos ever in the
Yeah.
history of Sex in the City through and just like that. For some reason,
They called you up?
I was number 3. They said, there's a role that we've written. The character's name is Ryan Serhant. We're coming to you first to see if you would like to play the role of Ryan Serhant. I was like,
And what if I don't?
if
Like,
I'm not available,
who's next?
you call like Ryan Reynolds? Like
Yeah.
who else plays me? I don't understand.
Yeah.
So I did a small part last season, and then I'm shooting a bigger section tomorrow. Yeah.
Really? That's
Serhant,
exciting.
they wrote in that Serhant, literally the line is Serhant Empire is like the real estate brokerage in the world of Sex and the City, and just like that. It's totally crazy.
That's so cool.
And so I've got to go and lay the smack down on camera tomorrow. So you'll see it next season,
That's
season 3.
so cool. Does that excite you? Because you were in, like, does everybody know you were on a soap opera? What was it called?
As the world turns.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you tried your footing in acting? Like, was that the dream when you moved to New York?
Yeah, it's what I did my whole life. Whole life as a kid. Yeah, I was just, you like had 2 choices in school. You could do theater, right? Or theater and whatever, or you could do sports. And I did all the sports. I sucked at all of them.
You sucked at all them.
Every single sport.
Really?
Everyone.
Were you competitive about them? Or
No, I just wasn't.
You weren't into it?
You know what it was? Like, I knew I was never going to be great, and I knew I didn't want to put in the work to be great. I was like, what am I going to do? Be a professional lacrosse player? Like, I was always so focused on what my life was going to be like 10 years down the road that even at 10, I'm like, am I going to go to college for lacrosse? Like, no, mom. And so I did 1 season of every sport known to man because my dad made me, and I was awful at every single one of them. He pulled me off right field in baseball and said, "You're right, baseball's not for you." That was embarrassing. Wish he hadn't done that, but at least it saved me time.
What about basketball? You're tall.
I did terrible,
Terrible.
awful.
Was your dad disappointed that you weren't good at sports?
I think I don't think he was disappointed because I did try. Like I did. I don't know, like I don't want to suck. Like I just sucked. I just sucked naturally.
Yeah?
Naturally sucked.
Are you into watching sports now?
Yeah, I'll watch football and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not like a sport fanatic.
Yeah.
But then I worked out, so I turned to then like the gym because I was overweight and terrible skin, and we moved houses all the time, so I always had to make new friends. It's like, oh, I can control my body. So
You
I
worked
can,
out at a young age?
yeah, I started young,
Like when?
like 12.
No.
Yeah.
What, like lifting weights?
Yeah, 7th grade. So I was 14 in ninth grade, 14, 13, 12. Yeah, 11. Yeah. There was my dad put a bench press and dumbbells in our basement and like basement, like scary
Yeah,
basement.
yeah.
Like don't go in that room. It's dark basement in Massachusetts. And I started working out at that age, which thank God, because I think I tore muscle fibers early enough that it's easier for me to maintain as I get older versus being older and saying, you know what, I'm going to get into fitness now. And
Right.
it's so much harder.
Yeah. So you were consistent since 12, pretty much?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like you were an overweight kid, you said?
Yeah,
For real?
yeah. Chocolate pudding was a thing for me. I loved snack packs.
Yeah.
Um, I ate so many of them, and then I would eat them and I would hide them from my parents.
You are very fit.
Now,
Yeah.
yeah, I killed the
No, but
like
even more like this sounds it sound even more when you take your shirt off because I saw you were on vacation. Where were you? Greece?
yeah.
And all of a sudden, like all these abs were like blinding me
Oh,
in the things.
yeah,
And I was like, okay, I knew that he was like fit and tall, but like people could be surprised by those abs, you know?
yeah. So
Like
listen,
the
I have
what is
no.
it, is it a six pack?
I think there's 8 if I were to count.
So that's what I was saying. Like Hugh Jackman, they just put out a thing and they were like his six pack. And I was like, are we just calling it a six pack? Because I counted 8 or 10.
Yeah, Jackman has a lot. He
Jackman
also
has a lot.
drains all the water from his skin, before filming, and he
He
does.
does?
Yeah,
How do you do that?
you. Well, I mean, there's a couple ways. The unhealthy but natural way is you drink like 72 liters of water a day for a week. If you're gonna like shoot something on a Tuesday, you do the week ahead of time, and then like 36 hours to 48 hours before you shoot, you ingest no liquid and your body just you pee it all. You like
And then you
you
look
urinate.
slimmer?
Yeah, and you eat like baked potato, and so it comes into your body and it soaks up all the water, and it'll just like this is my skin's not this thick, right? But you have like there's water and stuff underneath, and so it'll dry you out. You can also there's like
Don't try this at home.
there's also like a pill that I know that people will take that'll just immediately like drop any water in your body. So I think
But
people
what
will
I'm
too.
wondering is how do you then act? Like, how do you have the stamina? Like, I need to, you need energy to like live.
I don't know. I guess he's a professional actor
I needed to tell you something wild that I heard that happened in this very building that I found out when I got here. And
on
I need
Canal
to
Street.
see
Okay.
your reaction to it.
Yep.
You're probably not going to be shocked. But okay, so back to owning Manhattan,
Wait.
away from draining body fluids. So, love the show, love the real estate aspect. Also loved, some of the people that worked for you. Also didn't love everybody.
Sure.
Didn't love Jonathan so much. He was like
Mm.
a little douchey. Apparently, Jonathan was in this very building,
Oh.
in this very one of these podcast studios. He's like, "Should I film this?" And he asked people that work here if there's a surface somewhere at 10 a.m. And I asked because I'm a naive, cute little blonde. And I said, "Surface for what?" Do you want to take a guess why he was looking for a surface?
Like a glass surface?
Like a surface, yeah.
No, I don't want to take a guess.
Yeah. So he was wanted to do drugs at 10 a.m. on a surface here in these very podcast studios. And he did it in front of everybody here.
Yeah. Yeah. So he
And
doesn't work for us
I know,
anymore.
I know. That's an important note.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that shocking to find out?
I'd never heard that before.
You never thought that he was like doing stuff like that.
mm, I am the boss,
Yeah.
right? And I'm friendly in as much as culture is concerned, but I don't go out with our agents.
Yeah.
I don't party with them. I'm not drinking with them.
Yeah.
I try to set a really, really strong example. Like we obviously have agent policy and staff policy, against drugs and drinking and bad behavior. I mean, owning Manhattan was, and it was never my intent, but I mean, we let people go like live on camera.
Right.
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 That then got in the show. We never did that on $1 Million Listing. None of the other shows do that.
Did you
But
do that
it's
for TV at all, or was it
no
just had to happen?
dude, Netflix. Um, Bravo for Million Dollar Listing basically said, okay, you have a year. You have a year to make that show. So I shot Million Dollar Listing for like 11 years straight with no break. And so
Wow.
Netflix said, you've got, so anyway, but that year, you then have a lot of downtime, right? So you shoot on Tuesday or Wednesday, and then maybe on Friday, and then you'd have a meeting on Monday to say, hey, here's what my calendar, this is what we're going to go do. Netflix said, we're going to film nearly every single day for 4 months. And there was a lot of pre-pro, so like pre-production for over a year to start. And then the market just flips upside down. And because there was cameras everywhere all the time, they were able to just follow a very real slice of life without really any planning, which I got nervous about because I was like, this is going to feel so messy because I was so
Mm,
used to the kind of structured reality way of doing things, which is, hey, we have an open house tomorrow. Do you want to come film that? Versus you're going to be with me anyway, whatever's happening.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was it was just so weird and different and scary. And so there was just bad actors and I had to let them go and they were
Yeah.
following us anyway. It
Yeah.
was wild.
Yeah. How long did he work for you, Jonathan?
Almost 2 years, I want to say.
And until that point of what we saw on the show, he was like good.
Yeah,
It was good.
when I first met him, um, I was super excited because one, I saw some of like myself in him because he was like a fish out of water, right? He's from Denmark. He's in the city. He had another career. He was modeling and he got into real estate. He had a good book of contacts. He'd done business and he was ready to take it to the next level, which was like me when I first came here, although I didn't have a book of business. And then one of the first things he said to me was, I know what you're thinking. Based on how I look, you're making a judgment on me. I know that's what people do. And I know with every single person I meet, I have 3 seconds to change their mind. So I tell you, that is the most self aware thing
Yeah.
anyone's ever said to
And
me.
he's super, I mean, he has a lot of confidence, I feel
Yeah, a
like. Yeah.
significant amount. I was like, that's awesome. You're going to be this like bad to good arc, right? As we film the show, the more you sell, the better. And I just had these ideas of, hopefully the cameras will be there when you sell something big. And then
No, and it could have gone really well for him
it could have,
because
it was set up to go well.
yeah, like he has a look, he good at his
The
job. Like it could have,
motorcycle,
girls could have been like font, like it could have went really well. Like
that's what
missed
I was
op,
ready for.
it's a missed op,
Yeah.
for him. Did you expect the show to do as well as it did? Like
No.
top the charts?
I I didn't know what to expect because I'd never done Netflix before, and the platform's so large. But there's also so much. Like there's a new show
Yeah.
every day. It's insane the amount of content that they create and that they put out. And so I didn't know because owning Manhattan's so different. Do you watch the other shows, the other real estate shows?
Just Selling Sunset.
Yeah, so it's super different, right?
Super, which I didn't because I like the girls on Selling Sunset a lot, but I'm also
Yeah, they're
very
great.
aware of the show, and it's very different because I really did feel, and I was saying this when I was posting about owning Manhattan, is like this was very like I believed, like I know that you like sold the house, like when you
Yeah,
were doing those negotiations and we got to see the like down to the money, like put them on mute,
yeah,
discuss what to do, kind of thing.
all super real. Yeah,
Also, and like the way that you are, I don't know if it's because of like the acty stuff, but you get so into it that you like pulled us in. And I got it. I was like, is he gonna take it? But he's not doing you know what I mean? All those negotiations like really pulled me in more than the drama, which is very different than Selling
it's yeah,
Sunset.
yeah, yeah,
Because the drama on your show, there was like the Chloe and Jade a little bit.
yeah.
And I have to say, like, that wasn't the pulling factor. With Selling
Sure.
Sunset, that's it, right? It was like Christine and Chriselle and all the drama. And like, oh, beautiful house, great. But with your show, the drama was kind of took a back seat, I feel like.
Yeah.
Even though the girls did try to make the drama kind of bigger on socials.
Yes.
What
Yeah.
do you think about that?
I just walked by Jade just now on the way out of our office. She was there and I don't know what she was wearing. I try my best.
Wait, what do you
I was like, I
mean?
don't know what's going on right now. Um,
What? In what way? Like to
just like, was she wearing clothes? Yeah, she was. There were clothes on.
he
Danny
wasn't
doesn't pay
looking.
attention. He's like, agents, blinders. I work with you,
Can you?
Ryan.
I mean, is there like a
There is. But real estate agents are independent contractors.
Yeah.
They're 1099s. They run their own businesses.
Mm.
Serhant and every brokerage. But like we are what we call like a brokerage as a service, right? We provide a platform for them to build their own brands where we can get brand exposure. We do cool things like Netflix shows and podcasts and PR and press and speaking tours and all that stuff that other firms don't do. But then they run their business through us. Like we're not going
Do
to
they
stop them from
get
selling.
a salary or
No, no, no.
just the commissions on
They're
the
commissioned. Yeah, real estate agents are commissioned.
are all it's all commission?
Yeah, our firm. There's only a couple firms in the world that pay salaries to their sales agents, and then oftentimes it just changes because it's hard. Like if you were selling your home and something happens at 9 p.m., you're going to call me because you're going to be like, I need my broker on the phone.
Yeah.
If I'm salaried from 9 to 5,
Yeah.
like, oh, you got to hope that I'm willing to go above and
Yeah.
beyond for you. Otherwise, I'm not incentive. I'll talk to you at 9.
Yeah.
Hopefully your house is still there.
Wait, what happened with a $250 million home?
We took it off the market for the summer. With the price was adjusted to 195.
So if any of my listeners want to
Yeah.
get that for the 195, when you walk into that, do you want it? Like I don't want it.
You don't?
I don't want it.
I would 100% live there.
Yeah,
It is
you
so
want it?
awesome. Yeah, because it's
I mean like
irreplaceable.
it's too like it's too for like a normal person, you know?
Yeah.
Like what kind of family would live there? Like who do you see living there?
I mean, we've had 3 offers on it. Different types of families from all over the world. Like we'd have a family flying from Japan, mainland China, and then we'd have a family coming up from Palm Beach, and then we'd have a billionaire from San Francisco who's someone who's incredibly well known, and then we'd have like someone you'd never even heard of with a family of 10 coming from a country you forget about who just happens to be the richest person in that country, and they're looking for an investment. Like you see people spend $400 million on a Picasso,
Wait,
a
but
Dali.
you said there were 3 offers, not high enough?
Not high enough. Yeah.
Like
Not yet. Not yet.
not yet.
Yeah.
It is very stressful. Like, when you showed on the show, like that building in Brooklyn that you have to sell out like 80% of it or something, like
Yeah.
that's a lot of
It
a lot of
is.
stress.
Significant. I have gray hair. I'm not that old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when did it start, the gray hair?
When I was 16. So before real estate.
Stop. It started
Yeah.
at 16.
That's why I worked out, because I was like chubby.
Let
I
me
had
get
rash
this.
acne and I was like graying. And I
Yeah.
like theater because I sucked at sports. Like, how else am I supposed to get a girlfriend?
Theater, I mean, you majored in theater, I saw.
And English literature. Yeah.
So theater, because I minor in that in college, and it was so different. Like the theater people, that's like
Yeah.
it's like a different. Like every sneeze was like up like screaming, and then you go to like a regular class and everyone's like sleeping, and you go
Yeah.
to like a theater class and they're talking about anal at like 9 a.m. and it's just such a different crowd. Did you fit in the theater crowd?
You know what I loved about the theater kids growing up is that, to your point, I would walk into a room full of people operating at like 90% human, where I was going to sports or I go into any other class and I've got people trying to actually operate at like 20 to 30% human.
Yeah.
Like I would rather have people be super, super real and authentic and out there and crazy and weird and funky, to allow like the introverted me to come into that space and just feel welcomed and say, oh, I'm not the weirdest person on the planet.
Right.
Right. I found you people.
Right.
And was super, super comforting. But I got into theater not because I thought I would be great at it, but because it was easier for me to pretend to be other people than it was to be myself. And so I spent a lot of time just becoming different characters. That's why I did like summer theater and all that stuff versus trying to figure out who's Ryan. you
Wait,
know?
so why did you not stick to the theater and acting? Like, how did real estate kind of take over the majority?
Because I ran out of money.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, they don't teach you that in school. They teach you how to be a tree, but they don't teach you how to get paid.
Yeah.
And then you come to New York City, and I had some money saved up, like 20 grand, and I thought that was going to last me forever because that was a ton of money for me. And it didn't, and I ran out. And like, I made it last a little bit because I did hand modeling and some weird side jobs that paid me pretty well.
I looked at those hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, good hands.
It paid me pretty well.
Yeah.
So I could pay my rent anyway. And then I ran out of money summer 2008. And a friend was like, just get your real estate license. It's just like acting. You're going to memorize information, right? You're gonna memorize about that building, about that building, about that neighborhood, about this,
Yeah.
that, the other, and then it's improv. You meet someone on the
Wow.
street, and they're gonna say, "Hi, my name's Sally. I'm looking for a two-bedroom," and you go into broker Ryan mode, and you say, "Great, this better. This is 200 unit. This is this, this, this." It's like, okay. And you don't, there's no hours, there's no this, you're not checking in. If you make money, great. If you don't make money, no one cares. So it's like, you don't have to bartend, you don't have to wait tables. It's like, oh, so I can just do whatever I want, however I want, whenever I want. Like, yeah. And if you want to be the most successful real estate broker in the world, you can, and no one will stop you. And if you want to be the worst one, no one's going to help you. And so there's great risk there, right? So I signed up for that because being an actor in New York City also has similar risk, and so I was used to it.
Yeah.
Um, and that
Well,
was 2008.
Jason Bateman just said on his podcast, he was talking about becoming an actor, and he said similar to what you were saying, two things. Because they asked like, would you recommend it to somebody like
Yeah,
becoming an actor? And he said, not if you're doing it to make a living, like
yeah,
at the beginning, obviously.
yeah,
Like if you need the money, like not the place.
for sure.
And two, if you need the um like the ego boost, if you
Yeah,
need the like coddling, if you need the reassurance, also not the place because you're gonna get like so many
yeah,
no's,
yeah,
you know? So okay, anyway, you went into the real estate
yeah.
and then
Part time to
did you
start.
keep on doing auditions and like
Yeah, for a year.
yeah.
For a year I did. Like I did a I was when I started, I was doing, some Shakespeare, I was doing some other theater, I was still hand modeling. I made more money hand modeling my first
Stop.
year
Is
than I
that
did.
print or like
Yeah, print, billboards, my hands were everywhere. I held phones. I held iPhones, I
wait, do
held
you ever see your
AT&T
hand
phones.
like, hey?
Um, that was a long time ago, so I haven't seen them recycled because
Yeah.
the ads have changed. Also, the phones I held at that time
Right.
was like the original iPhone and the
Yeah.
BlackBerry, and yeah,
So funny.
back before my biggest campaign was for AT&T right when they started to go global. So it was like, AT&T now in over 100 countries like China. And so my hands would hold the phone, and then they painted my hands, sorry, they painted my hands to look like the Great Wall of China holding a phone. And you can Google it, and it's all out there.
Oh god.
Award-winning hand jobs.
So, but isn't it fun now? I mean, give a moment for that little joke. It isn't it fun now that you got to combine, I mean, not now, for the last like what, 15 years,
Mhm.
that you got to combine like your love of being on camera and this like thing that you're really good at, the real estate?
Yeah, I've learned that life happens at you, and what moves you forward is how you respond to what happens at you. And so I don't know. I think it's like what they say. Like luck is when opportunity meets preparation. And so, like, was the reality TV thing me being lucky, or did I really subconsciously prepare for it my whole life? That then when I said no to it, got my real estate license so I could pay my rent, figured out that actually no, I've been preparing for this my whole life because it is a performance. I do, like, if you're sick, if it's pouring rain, if you're in a fight with your girlfriend, you just get broken up with, your grandmother dies, you have no money, you still have an appointment at 9 a.m. and you're not selling that thing if you're sad. And you're not selling it if you don't show up or if you're in a bad mood. And so I had to learn real fast that to be an adult means making decisions based on my commitments, and to be a kid means making decisions based on how I feel. And that's something that I think takes a lot of people a long time to learn. And so with real estate, it's like, all right, I'm making a commitment to do this to the clients. And so I had to grow up real fast. But then I made like $1,000. It's like, dude, I can pay my rent. If I can make $2,000 a month, I am golden. That's
Yeah.
all I cared about.
So how'd you get so good at it? How'd you get to be one of like the best in the city? In the city, in the country?
Yeah, the world, I would say.
In
Um,
the world.
the
In the world.
So learning to sell is a skill. Like we teach it. We have sellit.com. Like we teach salespeople all over the world, from real estate to software to insurance, and we work with people. There's a skill set to it, right? You're selling enthusiasm. There's words to win with. It is something that anyone can get better in, and a lot of it is mindset and confidence and big money energy and all that stuff. I would say, and when everyone else thought that Instagram was stupid, that Twitter was dumb, that all the YouTube was for kids, I had nothing to lose. I'm not from here, and I had no money.
Oh, so you used, like, social media since
Yeah,
then?
I was like the first person doing property tours on YouTube.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so we went hard. We went hard because I had nothing to. My back was up against a wall, and so that, and then Million Dollar Listing happens, and I just went off attention. The more people who know what you do, the better, right?
Yeah,
And from that, and then a powerful follow up, and then systems and process around it, and just having a relentless work ethic, and that's how you do it.
and that's how you do it.
Yeah, not that hard.
I mean, you said before what your friend said to you, right? That got you into real estate. Like, you can do this, put on the actor mode,
Yeah,
you'll make the money. Would you say the same thing to someone? Like, now people are watching the show, people move to New York, they're like, "Oh my god, there's so many apartments here." Like, real estate is you could just get into it, take the test, you can try. Like, would you give the same advice that was given to you, or would it be different?
no, I do all the time.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think anybody can do it. And what's great now is in the world we live in today, you can sell virtually. Like you don't even have to be there. One of the reasons we started a couple years ago to work with like metaverse technology wasn't just to like be trendy, was because I got excited about people who don't like the way they look, who don't like the way they appear, or they are handicapped. Like when was the last time you saw a military amputee veteran showing houses? Like it's hard. You can't, you're not going to do it. So there's a whole section of the population where my profession has said, not for you. Can't do it, you know? But you can now. There's different ways to do that. And so I get excited with everybody. You just have to be okay with rejection. If you're the kind of person who gets punched and says, ow, don't do it. If you're the kind of person who gets punched and says, I'm going to punch back or try harder, you will win.
I mean, I've seen so many apartments in New York with brokers that were like nothing like you. I mean, they don't even have like
Thanks.
no, that it is a compliment. They don't even have like what you have in your fingernail. Like, it would just like, I feel like some brokers just like open the door. Like, they're like they turn the key.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
the barrier of entry is low, right? It's 75 hours online. You get your license, you
Right.
pass a test. The test isn't the easiest one in the world, but
Doable.
it's not impossible.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so people watch these terrible reality TV shows where these people show up from random places and say real estate is so easy.
Yeah.
Shame on them. And then they get the real estate license and think it's going to work, but it's hard,
It's hard.
right? It's hard to make a living, which is why the turnover is over 80% in the first year.
Really.
Yeah, it's too hard. It's too hard to pay your bills
Wait, why did $1 million listing not keep going?
because we did it for 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years. And then I started my own company.
Yeah.
And I had a conversation with Bravo in 2022 where basically it was like, okay, you turn on TV and Law and Order is on, let's say. You're like, all right, I know what I'm going to get, right? There's probably going to be a case and they're probably going to solve it.
Yeah.
And so you like that, right? It's comforting. Same thing, you turn on Grey's Anatomy or any other show, you're like, oh, there's probably going to be someone sick and it's going to be messy, then they're going to solve it. What if you turned it on and all of a sudden one of the doctors on Grey's Anatomy went and started their own hospital and the whole episode was just about that and now the show's different forever? So, like the format of Million Dollar Listing either had to change
Yeah.
because
You're not gonna be there anymore.
I went to start my own company and my life was just different in 2020. Or you know what? We were nominated for 2 Emmys. It was out there for 10 years. It was massive and huge. I did three spin-off shows.
So you're
Um,
okay to take that risk though.
yeah, and that literally the next day I called Netflix.
Stop. Literally?
Yeah, literally. I
You
called
called
Netflix.
Netflix and you were like, I have an idea for a show.
Yeah. And then I went to our production company that did Million Dollar Listing with us, World of Wonder. And I said, let's put a reel together for what the future of reality TV would look like in real estate. Like, what is reality TV 3.0? Like, what does that look like? And because the audience expects too much now. Like, you get it. You turn on shows and you're like, I've seen this before. I want to make sure in the first couple minutes, if people turn on Owning Manhattan, they look up from their phone because they're like, I don't understand. Is there voiceover? Is this a reality TV show? I don't understand what's happening. And then you get sucked in from there. And if it's real and it's messy and then it's entertaining at the same time, then we've elevated the genre. in a way. And so we went to Hulu, HBO Max, Peacock, and Amazon Prime. And it was really between Amazon and
And
Netflix
Netflix.
for me. And I had like a week,
Oh, you had to decide.
yeah, the summer of 2022, a week of like super stress, trying to figure out which ones the one to go with because Amazon's offer was wild and there's a lot of like other things that came with that.
So it wasn't just like which one had the better offer.
I mean, it kind of was, but it was more for me like, um, which is the better home?
Yeah.
Like, where can we create the greatest TV show
Did you
ever?
did you talk to like the Selling Sunset people? Are you
I
friends
know
with
them.
the
Yeah,
twins
I know
and
them.
yeah?
I didn't talk to them about our show because
Mm,
I don't like jinxing things.
yeah.
I did talk to a lot of people at Bravo though,
Yeah.
and I'm about to sell Andy Cohen's apartment.
Oh, right, I saw that.
Yeah, I was with him yesterday, and he was super supportive, and
So
uh,
he called you up to sell his apartment.
yeah, yeah. He's finally ready to move. He's been building that place for 21 years.
Building which place?
His apartment that we're about to sell. He slowly but surely combined 4 different
That's what
apartments.
you have to do in New York to get a big
Yeah,
apartment, huh?
yeah, to Horatio. It's a bing and bing building. It's super famous. It's in the heart of the West Village. It's awesome, and it's such a cool apartment to the point where as we're getting it ready to sell and we're like taking the photos and doing the
He
video,
doesn't want to?
he's become like a classic seller where
Yeah.
he's like, actually, this place. Wait, you said it's one of one, right? I'm like, Andy, just chill.
Yeah.
Just go to work. Go do your radio. Go do your
Yeah, yeah.
things. He's like, but you said it's one of a kind and there's no competition. I'm like, yeah. He's like, well,
So why wouldn't I want that?
exactly.
Yeah.
No.
That
I'm
is
like, no, no,
hard.
no, Andy. It's just like everybody else. Everybody has one of these.
Yeah. Did you ever get the bug to or your wife to move to the suburbs? No, not at all.
No.
Oh,
That's why we
damn.
built our house in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I built that house
Wait,
too.
what do you mean you built it? What was it before? And it was
It was a 2-family in
Yeah.
Brooklyn. It was big. And so we gutted it for 4.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you showed that on TV, right?
Yeah. It was a separate show on Bravo.
Do
Yeah.
you think
All
you're
the
gonna
stress.
live there for forever?
I don't know. I built it as a forever home so that if I do live there forever, then it's great. I
Yeah.
love it. I mean, it's amazing. What a pain in the ass, but it's
What to the
yeah.
renovations and
I mean,
everything.
do renovations, the amount of money you have to in New York City for 4 years.
Yeah.
It's like I'm in this business and I didn't know how awful it was.
Really?
It's because like as an example, okay, you, you need the electrician to finish all the wiring before you can close the walls, before you can paint the walls, before you can put the flooring in, before you can put the lighting in, before you can do the sound, before you can do this. And so if the electrician then doesn't show up on Monday and he's like, nope, okay, my next availability is next Tuesday. Now all of a sudden you've lost a week.
Yeah.
And now the wall guy, he's got another job booked. He then has to book and rebook. So now he can't come for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then the flooring guy, now you got to switch flooring guys. And the flooring guy who's coming over, now this is a new job for him. So he's now going to look at new drawings and everything. Next thing you know, because of one electrician not showing up on time, you're like 3 months delayed. And then
Yeah.
in New York, you then got to go to the city and say, we need to push our inspection time, right? You got to come through. We can't close the walls until you come through. And if they're delayed or and it like, that's one little example. Multiply that over 8,000 square feet. It is just not for the faint of heart.
So it'd be easier to just buy a ready like turnkey. You call
That's
it,
why
right?
turnkey homes,
Yeah.
fully furnished, we sell all day, every day.
Fully
And
furnished,
people will
huh?
pay the premium. Yeah, they'll pay the premium for 100%. We just sold a place in Soho, 10,000 square feet, one day, $50 million because it was move in tomorrow.
How many bedrooms?
A lot.
Like
lot.
really? Damn.
Yeah. But it was a lot. That apartment.
Wait, so if it's 50 million and then the agent that works for you, what's the percent an agent makes?
I sold it.
Oh, it was yours. Okay.
Yeah, there's certain deals that I do.
Okay.
Myself.
So then do you get the same percentage that an agent gets?
Well, I own the company, so I
Right.
get all the percentage.
Oh, because if it's them, then they split it with you.
Or there's a percentage that comes to the
Ah,
house.
I
Yeah.
see.
Mhm.
Because you see really big numbers. Or like Jade or one of your agents sells a place.
Yeah.
You see the number, like
Yep.
10 million.
And then there's
So they're
split.
making all that money. It's like a lot of money.
Yeah, if they're on the sell side, I mean, if you sell something for $10 million, the commission will be anywhere from $200,000 to $600,000. And then there's a split with either other agents or team members. And then there's a split with the company. And then there's taxes. And then there's
Right.
all the marketing costs that you have to front. So, and there's no
Like
salary.
dancing, like the
Yeah,
dancing.
sure. Like the video. But there's no salary, there's no benefits. And the system exists the way it is because customers have made it so. So you can say, I don't, these fees are too high. And great. I will 100% work for you by the hour. Let's do it. My clock starts right
Ah,
now.
right.
I'll charge you. I will totally bill you
For every
like an
phone
attorney.
call,
Yeah,
every
let's go.
text. Yeah.
And then you start, and I've sat there with clients and I've shown them what all my work is. And they say, you know what? I'll pay you if it sells. But if it doesn't sell, I don't have to pay you, right? That's the
And
deal.
then you don't,
That's the
right?
deal. And then you don't, and then you lose all that time, money, and effort. But then you make it up on other wins. And then you just have to look at your life as a salesperson based on your year, right? You don't live in the dead deals, you live in the year, and you live based on your 1099. That's it.
You live based on your 1099. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your schedule. Another fun thing.
Okay.
Your schedule, like it went viral, right? When you posted that,
Yeah. It's
like
because of this guy.
is handy.
Yeah.
So was it 5 minute
15,
increment?
15 minute
15.
increments. So
Is
I
that
never,
really how your day is built out?
yeah. I mean,
First of all, I feel very, very honored to have gotten
this is 4
a lot of
blocks.
15 minutes of
Yep.
yours.
Yeah. So like this is today, right? So you're in here. You're these 4 blocks right here. And then I'll go here. These are 2
Whoa.
blocks, 2 blocks, 2 blocks, 2 blocks. I have to do 4. So this right here is, so that's, this is actually 7 minutes, 7 minutes, 7 minutes, 7 minutes. And then I have a break to pee and then I go about my day.
Wait, and it's all green. Why aren't they at least color coded by like different things?
You know what?
What?
Because I try not to overcomplicate my life.
Yeah.
And I just,
Yeah, that sure looks
my
looks
assistants,
chill.
my assistants' calendars, they have mine and then theirs. They do color code
Mm.
based on things that I don't need to see. Like,
Mm.
so
Yeah, yeah.
Nick, who booked this,
Right.
right? He has the same calendar, then he has all his stuff, but then he'll also have like travel time. So he knows that this is an 8-minute
That's a
walk from the
crazy
office.
ass schedule. And I didn't even see, when did it start and end? Like, what's the start of day? What time?
Today, I think, is 8 to 8. It's not that crazy.
8 to 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. And which day did you say was daddy? What's
Saturday.
Oh,
Except in the
Day?
summers. I work 7 days a week in the summer because they're in Greece.
Oh, you went there with them a little
Yeah,
bit.
for a week.
And when you're there, do you turn off?
I never used to. This time, I did.
What'd you do?
Nothing.
Like put your phone away, didn't
I
answer.
don't put my phone away.
Yeah.
The best part about Europe when you work in the United States, right, is that New York doesn't wake up until 3 p.m. It's the best. So you have the whole day to do whatever you want. I went to
Mm.
Hawaii once in my life, and it was the worst. I couldn't focus because you wake up and a day has happened, and
Ah.
you're like the emails and the text messages and the clients and the this and the that, and it's hard. It's hard. So I love Europe because you can disassociate for like the first 8 hours of your day. And then
Yeah.
I don't believe in away messages or out of office messages. I don't do that.
That is
Um,
triggering
yeah, I don't do that.
to get them.
Yeah, because you send a note and you're like, hey, let me know when you want to talk. And the computer automatically writes back to you, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you next week. And you're
Yeah.
like, okay, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. But yeah, there's a lot of email. I actually have more folders in my inbox than anyone Microsoft and Apple has encountered. And they put that in writing and we framed it.
Wait, which company put it in writing? Both of them?
Yeah, Microsoft and Apple support.
Did you ask for them to put it in writing?
No, they sent an email.
Wait, what did they say?
Literally that. Like we have never encountered a customer with more inbox folders than you. We're working through the redundancies because both Outlook and the iPhone could not talk to each other and they'd never seen anything like it before. So since then, we've built archives and things, but I get 2,000 emails a day that are not spam.
And your assistants filter through them? Do
Yeah.
you look at them?
I have a daytime email assistant. I have a nighttime email assistant. I have the executive assistant, and then we have our driver.
And those are all, and the driver.
Yeah, he doesn't touch my emails.
Yeah, we just had to mention him. Good
Could you
thing I
imagine?
didn't.
Yeah, if Yuri's writing back to you, he's like,
Wait,
no.
And so my sister told me Yuri's been around for a while. Because like I said,
Yeah.
I was introduced to him now in owning Manhattan, but he's been around. Like, when did you get a driver? When that upgrade happen?
I got I started having a driver in the city way before I could ever afford it. Um, like 15 years ago. Yuri has been with me 11 years
So what was that decision, like, not to take the subway?
because I lost service in the subway.
Yeah.
And then you'd come out and like back in the day, you'd
Right.
then come out and it would take your phone time to like get
Yeah,
the
yeah,
service
yeah.
again. And then I'd be late because then I'd have train delays and then I'd run into an appointment and then I can't do that call. And so I would lose productivity. I'd lose time. And I
And you're not gonna look for parking, so you're not gonna drive yourself.
Yeah, no, I don't no way. In the city, no way. Right, and
Yeah.
you get fined and ticketed and towed, it would be a disaster. So I just said, "Okay, what is the cost to rent or lease a car?" Right? So the Escalade, I think it was like 1,500 bucks a month. Okay, then you
Oh,
got a
you started
driver.
with an Escalade.
Yep.
Mhm.
Then you have the driver. So what is the salary plus benefits for a driver? And my first driver, I think was low. I think it was like 60,000 or something. So I said, okay, all in 70, 80. So let's say like $80,000 is what it's going to cost me to have a driver a year. So after tax, before tax, I need to make an additional $160,000, give or take, in New York City to afford having this driver. How many people do I need to meet based on the ratio in which I can
Yeah, the
close a
way
deal,
yeah.
right? To sell X amount of more homes based on my average commission rate to make this an afterthought 1 year from now. And I'll just put it on a credit card between now and then. And that's what I did. And a year later, it's like, why didn't I get a driver sooner? Because I think it ended up being like I have to sell 5 more homes a year at the beginning. If I can sell 5 more homes a year on average at our average price point in the city, it'll pay for the driver and all the time you get back from not commuting, not thinking about things. And then I did the same thing for everything. It's like, how much time am I spending actually doing email by myself? How much would it cost to hire someone to do this for me? Boom, done. I have to do 3 more deals a year
You
to
really
afford you.
calculate it that way?
Yeah.
Everything you do?
I didn't
Even
even learn
when
his name. I didn't even know it was Danny until like the other day. I just looked at him and I was like, what's up, 7 deals? You know,
swear he called you 7 deals.
dude, 7 deal Danny. That's him.
Stop. And you're the social, like, are you
He's the guru, the
videographer?
maestro. I mean,
Wait,
he's an
you
artist.
Danny just picked up 7 fingers, like, he for sure for real called you 7 deal Danny?
Yeah.
Oh,
He's super
excuse
expensive.
me. Wait, I am so bad with money, like, in terms of understanding it. Like, I don't even know. I'm like, "Oh, great, that came," like, I wish I had that brain. It's so good.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm like great with money. I think I'm really good at making money and creating new income opportunities. And so understanding.
Like, you don't get complacent, like, "Okay, I have enough money, I have a home, I have, like, all these things," like, it seems like you're kinda like Paris Hilton. Like, comparing
Kim
you to all
Kardashian
the
and Paris
greats today.
Hilton and Brian
No,
Smith.
because I
Yep.
remember Paris Hilton, like, made her first, like, what was it, like, 100,000,000, like, she made her first
Yeah, super. Yeah.
super millions,
Yeah.
and she was like, all it made because she's a business lady, like,
No,
people don't
she's
know
hard.
that
She's
that's
amazing.
hot, it goes a long way.
She's
So,
huge.
she said, like, her next thought was like, "Okay, now I
Yeah.
wanna make."
I think it's I don't know. I've likened it really to like, I don't know, like it's like whitewater rafting, and you just go. And once you have the momentum and you understand how to do it and you know you're gonna live, you just go. And one day you're gonna reach an ocean. I just don't know if it's gonna be around this bend or that bend or down that waterfall, and that's super scary, and that might be 2020, but we'll live. Um, and I just have to keep going. Otherwise, I just feel like I don't know, I could have been born a different person who wasn't as lucky or as fortunate. And I think about that a lot. And so if I am given opportunities,
Yeah.
I must milk them. Otherwise, I'm almost like slapping everybody else in the face. That's like the pressure I feel to not go out and try to win every day. 'Cause it's like, hey, you were given luck somehow, some way. Yes, you work really, really hard, but if you fucking let go of this, we will kill you. It's like Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. I'm not saying I'm Good Will Hunting, but it's like that scene at the end of Good Will Hunting where Matt Damon's like, "No, dude, I'm like in 50 years, I'm gonna be here with you and the Pac and the
No,
Ka and the Harvard, yeah,
yeah.
this," and Ben Affleck's like, if you're here with me in 10 years, I'm gonna come to your house, I'm gonna punch you in the face myself.
Yeah.
You have a gift, go use it. Otherwise, it's
Yeah.
a disgrace to the rest of our friends.
Wow.
So anyway, time, email, yeah.
That's such a good that's the Goodwill Hunting is such a good reminder. Use your skill. Thinking about me coming
Yeah,
back from maternity leave, the
whatever
next
you got.
day, and it's like, why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't I do what I love to do?
Mhm.
Why would I be like, no, I'm going to stay home? I mean, to be with my baby, and I love being with my baby, but you can do it. You can do it all.
Yeah, as long as you
You can do
appreciate
it
the
all.
journey,
So, but I'm really interested because I feel like, I'm on my phone. My husband will be like, be with me, like stop being on your phone. Like, I feel like with you, that doesn't happen a lot with your wife.
yeah, I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been married for 8 years. I'm still working on it.
Yeah. I mean, because you do work a lot
Yeah.
and that can upset the household, I'm sure.
I think the hardest thing that it's hard for me to not take work home because work is everywhere now,
Yeah.
right? Especially if you have like a bad day,
Yeah.
you have a bad like it's hard for me to disassociate if I've had from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. of just pure this day was rough.
Yeah.
If I've either lost money, lost business, lost staff, if like there are bad days,
Yeah.
a lot. And then I have to go home and be awesome.
Yeah.
Like it's hard. And I've tried the other way of saying, no, let's talk about everything all the time. But I'm sorry, but the last thing I want to do at night is like do more talking. It's
Yeah.
all I do all day long.
Yeah.
I just
You do
talk.
talk a lot. You have a good voice, though.
Professional talker over here.
You are a professional talker.
Yeah, I'm on
But
the
I wanted to
phone
ask you another question.
all the time.
So you have Andy Cohen's apartment.
Yeah.
Any other big celebs at the moment?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Do do you
New York
get
City's not a
starstruck by them? Like,
I
does
mean, it
it,
depends. It
who it,
depends on who it is.
yeah,
Um, I would say, yeah, yeah. I mean, we don't sell a lot of celebrity apartments in New York because there just aren't that many. And oftentimes when we do, by the time like I get engaged, this celebrity has moved already, or they're elsewhere, or they're just not in New
mm,
York.
so you just know that it's their home.
Yeah, and then you're
Yeah.
dealing with you're dealing with them by email, or oftentimes their business manager. Like the business manager is my best friend.
The
I
business manager is your best friend.
I make it my job to know as many business managers as I can
Yeah.
because they call the shots and they're dealing with the minutia. You know,
Yeah. That is true.
in New York anyway. In different markets, it's a little bit different.
And tell me, Owning Manhattan season 2, anything you can tell us?
I don't know yet.
I
I
don't
mean, it's the greatest
know.
show ever. I don't know. I don't know. Netflix has it came out. It's been a month. You know,
It has been a month.
it's been
Damn.
1 month.
I'm sure it'll be picked up.
Million Dollar Listing would air for 4 months a year because it's every week. For 16 episodes, and then you would find out if we get another season, like a couple months after that. But Million Dollar Listing was always like we were just picked up kind of in perpetuity that way.
And this
Um,
is like binge in a day.
it's wild. It's like a
Wild.
movie.
It's like a
You
movie.
shoot it like
No,
a
I actually I usually do not love binging. I love to savor a little bit. And
oh,
I have to say that this
pleasure delay.
show
Yeah,
was so bingy that I finished it in like 2 days.
yeah.
And
Most people
that's
did.
when I was like, you need to come on the pod because I haven't binged a show like this in a while. And I didn't think that like a real estate show
Surprise.
was gonna pull me in the way that it did.
Yeah, it's
What do
crazy.
you think about your staff? I mean, even though you said they're all independent contractors at the end of the day,
Yeah.
but do you like that they kind of want to get that social media fame, that they're kind of trying to be out there, TikToky, feuding, doing those things? Does it cringe you out? Like, what's your feeling on it?
Some of it I think is cringy. There's a scene. Oh, there's so much we shot that didn't make the show, but there's a scene that we shot where I called it like the smackdown, where I kind of gathered everybody in kind of our main sales floor. And I told everyone we have a problem. One of the things I said though that I think they did cut out is where it's like, don't look at me as an example. Don't see me doing social and me dancing and me doing all these things like, oh, that's how to get successful. What you should look at is you should rewind 16 years ago and see what Ryan 16 years ago was doing. which was building attention in a professional way to get business, right? To meet new clients. I spent a lot more time trying to get on CNBC back in the day and CNN and Fox Business and get on, like Squawk Box in the morning uh, than I do today, right? Today I do it because it's, the business, et cetera, but I spend a lot more time on social now
Yeah, you've become a social
that
animal.
I do on all that other stuff. Yeah, it's like in my art. I like it. It's my art form. I was making
So
little
that
movies with my brother as a little kid.
I mean, you have like videography help, but like, do you do your own stuff like TikToks and stories? Like, that's all you
So I text Danny starting at like 4 a.m.
for
Um,
realsies? Wait, why are you up at 4?
well, I wake up at 4:30, but I'm jet lagged right now, so I've been waking up at 3:30.
Wait,
Uh,
4:30 to work out probably.
yeah,
Ugh.
yes. And so I send Danny my thoughts and ideas. So like we did one yesterday. I don't know if you saw this. See, these are the things that make me happy. So this is does Instagram audio not work for anybody anymore?
What's Instagram audio?
No, just the so I wanted Yuri to do the Youssef, the Turkish guy pose. Like the pole vaulter also did it in the Olympics where he like, he did this. And then the pole vaulter did it when he won the world record.
Okay.
And so I had him do it. And I was like, Danny, go in my office and film me doing that and then have Trisha be there. Because what the fuck am I doing?
So you have social ideas in the middle of the night.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
the time. Yeah, I do
love
that. And then,
Trisha, by the way.
yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
And then they try to talk me out of some of them. Sometimes it doesn't work, and I just do what I want anyway.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like what's in your head doesn't always, because when I'll give you my go-to is like when it's too elaborate,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
probably not gonna.
yeah. So we
When it's
try
like
to
a
keep it as
movie and
yeah,
you need a director for it,
yeah,
it's
no,
probably not gonna work on social media. Like it needs to be like quick and easy,
yeah. We try to keep it as
No, but
simple as
you've been a
possible.
riot on social. Follow Ryan Serhant on TikTok, on Instagram, Owning Manhattan. Go binge it if you haven't on Netflix.
Let's go.
And you're an inspo, dude. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Sure.